All right, well, welcome to the other side. To the other side. So, we are ready to glue. Now, this is, I just decanted in this. I had some leftovers from, this is like a bonding agent for masonry. And it's pretty expensive stuff. Comes in a bottle. I think it's about 40 bucks or something. But I had enough left, and this will last me for a long time. But if you know a mason and he has bonding agent, you can use it. There's a few different, I think this was Bondex. There's a few different makers of it. But it's really good stuff. It dries a little bit faster, cures up a little bit tougher than your average wood glue or PVA. But anything works. You could even use a hot glue gun, I guess, too, if you want. But I was getting some melting, so I'm going to use this instead. And then glue in our rock pieces here that I've got pinned on. I've got them marked out where I want to put them back in. I've got some little juts here that are going to come out. Got this overhang here that's going to come out. Now we cut our piece off. I've got it cut down to size now, so we're at 15.5 inches by 32 overall. Now our display area is smaller. Just let me reach over and grab my little tape here. Sorry about that. There we go. So our actual display area is running at around just under a foot, so we got about 11.75 inches by the open area about 20, almost 28, about 27.75. So we got 11.75 by 27.75, and then we have this other area here where it opens up to the opening of the dump. So we have light coming out. We can have these doors open and have so that you can kind of see the beginnings of the interior of the base, and we'd have room to fit a vehicle in there as well, so we probably have room for quite a few. Now the big question is going to be the prop size, obviously, for the hind, because it's substantial, but I think this will allow us enough room to contain most of it inside here. My largest display is 20, I think, 20 or 20.5 interior wide, so I've got lots of room here to fill up, but I have to allow for, there's a backboard to hide a cavity behind the display to hide like cables for lights and stuff. So yeah, but I'm good. It's going to definitely fit. It's the prop size I'm not absolutely sure about yet, but we'll see when we get there with the hind, which will be as we work through the quad runner. The quad runner is going to be a hoot too. Yeah, that's funny. Wait till I show you. With the intro there coming over here. When we go back over there, I'll show you. It was so funny. You go back and look at when I was first looking at the quad runner, and yeah, you'll get a chuckle out of that. But you know, hey, we learn as we go. So basically all I'm going to do right now is I have a brush here. Where did I put you? There you are. Is that you? No, that's not you. That's my dry brush. Oh, give me a second here. I got to find my brush that I was going to use. I guess I can use this one. I don't know what I did with it. Must have had it there. Oh, it's over by my computer, my editing. Okay, well anyways, you just use this. Doesn't matter. And I'm basically just going to liberally apply this stuff to get my pieces glued down. And I'm just going to basically smear this out so I get a nice contact between our pieces of foam and don't get any melting or anything. I got the heat turned up a bit so it's nice and warm down here. I got my slippies on. Anybody wants a nice pair of homemade slippies, model student officially approved, definitely leave me a message in the comment and I'll see that we ship you out a pair of slippies. These are handmade from a friend of mine, and I think they're the bomb. And they are my go-to slippy for all of my work time in the slippies. Work slippies. They're job rated slippies. That's what these are. Job rated. Excellent stuff. So you need slippies, you need a good mug. Actually, I'm not a big trendy sort of guy, but my son gave me one of those what are they, Yeti? The Yeti mugs? Oh my goodness, the thing works great. They are all they're cracked up to be. Thing keeps your coffee hot for I don't know, a long time. Pretty well all day almost. They keep a whole morning anyways. So that's nice because it keeps you able to keep running upstairs to get a fresh heat me up. Alright. Let's get you jammed in there. Yoink! Stick him right into spot. We'll get all these tacked down. And then as they dry, we'll get the quad put together. And that way we can keep pushing forward into paint. And by the time we're done putting the quad together, this should be set enough for me to, whoop, hey now. This should be set enough for me to start the mix. Which way are we? Oh, you gotta be, no, there. That way. We can start applying our base for all of our soil and dirt and rock face and stuff, yeah. And we'll mix up a special blend. So basically I'm just gonna get these all glued into place. So last piece to put in, and I'm just applique. So I've done both sides, the top and the bottom. And this is just gonna cap off right at the very end here. And I'm actually gonna let it overhang the I'm gonna let it overhang the base a bit, just here at the front and at the side. And I think that'll kind of make it look kind of neato. So just a little bit at the front and a little bit at the side. Okay, so once I pin this down and get right through there. This is where the long ones come in handy. Not all the way through there. Now, now what I want to do is push this down, and I usually, yeah, here it is. Get this speaker weight. Kind of a handy thing to have. It's a lot of weight compact in a small space. So you got an old speaker, you see one laying on the side of the road, kick it over, smash it apart, and rip the speaker out of it, and then just take the magnet out. Really nice for, you know, wrap a rope around this thing, sort of hang it, pick up nails and, you know, stuff that might be laying in the grass or in the gravel. Here we go. Okay, well, we're good. We're set everywhere. That's good. Okay, so let me clean my brush, seal this up. When we come back to this side, we'll mix up the special batch and we'll see how we make out this time. We'll try to emulate the rock face along the cliff face and work in our jetties and juts out and cliff's face and all this stuff. So yeah, all right, moving right along. Okay, to the other side. So a funny story. On my way to reviewing a resin quad runner kit on YouTube, I prematurely identified some parts as what I thought to be the front handlebar assembly, which I thought, geez, the handlebars, the grips are awful big for a 1/35th scale guy's hands. But I wasn't really thinking too much of it. I thought, oh, geez, you know, there's the turning lights or whatever, and this is the front part. And I thought, gee, I wonder why they gave us two of them. And I thought, that's kind of weird. Got an extra part. Well, lo and behold, I didn't notice that these were keys. And here we're keywayed right here on the bottom. And these are our axle assemblies. And they fit right in like that. And that's what those are. So if you go back and you do look at the review of the parts and out of this kit, you can see where we misidentified these. But now that I've kind of figured out that's actually pretty easy, you know, fit there. Get us started. Now everything sort of clicks together. So if you've bought one of these kits, I think it's good that we're covering this, as in that there aren't instructions. So at least there'll be a resource that you know, someone can go to on YouTube and find them assembled. So they do give you these small shocks, coils, and stuff here, and we're starting to piece together where they go. Ooh, where they go. If I can get this guy spun around, but you can see he's got this angled part on the one end, and you can see there's a big end Here, let me get this. So you can see there's a big paddle and a small paddle. And it looks like this small paddle seats right in there. And then this paddle is going to sit in that right in there. This big, because of the way it's made, it's going to fit right in that sort of spot there on the axle. So once you get this part, you might have to do a little scraping and stuff, but once you get it sitting in there, you can see that's right where that's going to go. So we found out where that goes. That goes right there, generally. Right there. So we'll get the axle set, we'll get these set around, and then I know these are the step things. That's for these, the posts to go in. So those are going to go on the sides. And then we can start putting our rails together. But first we'll get started with the rest of these. So we'll get these glued in, all four sides, and then we'll figure out where these buggers go. Because now that we know these are our axles, that's where our wheels will sit. I had to clip the one down. The wheel wouldn't go all the way on, so you might have to clip one down. All right, so I'm going to go around and clean these up and glue them in. And then we'll come back to some more assembly. Okay, awesome. It has literally been about 20 minutes, and I can't even pull the toothpicks out. So I'm just going to clip these off. Right flush. Push it in a bit. Get them right out of there. And we'll mix up a batch of our special brew and get a coating on this and see how we make out. I hope that it goes the way that we're anticipating. Hope so. I mean, it's all an experiment. So, but I've watched a lot of the filmmaking documentaries. I thrived on those when I was a kid. I think the first one was the making of Star Wars. Probably the first movie we ever really even cared about how it was made. Whoa! And I was hooked. I was really, I think that's, like, when I was a kid, it's odd, because when I was a kid, I thought, you know, wow, it'd be such cool build models. And I tried building one, and it didn't work out so good, and sports, other stuff takes over, and I just kind of fell out of it. But it's always really been a huge interest of mine, of how they did stuff for movies. And, you know, sometimes you'll see a movie and it's a miniature, you don't even realize it. It's like a street scene or something. You're like, holy cow, that was a miniature? So, but now that's in the past, and this is now. But now this is what we do. Used to be an elevator guy, a contractor, and now we're a foam stone making dude. Ha! Who knew? All right, I have my pot ready to go. So I think before I mix, I'm just going to give this a good clean off, and I'll let this set while I do. I'll mix up this stuff, and I'll give this a good clean off. And when we come back, we will be applying it. So we'll sort of go through this together. We'll sort of figure out, I think we want this generally flat, because we're going to be having our garage here, which is this dimension here. That's what that's going to be. So yeah, I think, but generally, outside of this, I think we could probably berm and, you know, lay out. So maybe what I'll do is I'll sort of lay out a draw in here what might become a roadway, and whether or not we actually do a landing pad or we put the building up, we still have a layout that'll work for either. So if we have a flat sort of patch that we can put the building in if we choose to, or we can make that into a graveled landing pad with a marker on it and all that kind of stuff. Which I'm going to put the marker on the roof of the building either. But so that's where we're at. Let's come back when we're ready to put some goo to her. Now, before we go applying our mixture, we've laid out our general plan. So we're going to mask this area, these areas here, and the inside, because we're going to go from concrete inside the bunker to gravel all the way around. In this area, though, there would be some buildup of material that had been whatever scraped away to make both the road and this. So we want a bit of a berm or a buildup here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to mask this off, this whole area here, and the entrance, and mask off where the building is going to be. And then we're going to build up in the berm, build up along the side here, and just along inside there with our soil sort of mixture, and then create our rock, and then carry on with the soil on the top here. So when it's all dry, then we can start to work. I think gravel inside of the building would even work. So we've got all kinds of small aggregates we can use. So, yeah, that's it. We're going to mask and mix. Mask and mix! Woo! Feel like Julia Childs. Starting to look like her too, eh? Okay, back in the flash. Alright. Another little handy product. You can get these at, we get them at the dollar store or, any hardware store. Cheaper at the dollar store, but they're just pre-papered masking. And they're nice for large areas. You can use them for, I've used them for wings on 1/48 scale planes and stuff like that. And they're working really good for this. They're good for that larger, size area that you want to mask. And they come in good. Has the tear on it too. You can just rip it off if you want. But definitely speeding this along as far as our masking goes. And we'll go to full mask once we get into the bunker. Woo! Hey. Sure we got a nice clean surface. There we go. Small line. Oh, ha! Got upside down. That's why it wasn't sticking. Helps if you use it right. Right there. Okay, so turn this off. Just shy so we can mask it. Okay, I think I'll go here. Get just shy. I'll go there. Lay that right in there. Keep it shy from either side. I did it again. Oh, Joel. If you are a regular follower of this channel, I hope that you get a chuckle, right? I'd like to bring levity. I'm generally an optimistic person, so I like to try and turn any sort of adversity into whatever, a chuckle. So I hope you get a chuckle out of some of the crazy stuff that I do. Alright, yeah, might as well run one more along our road. And then we'll get inside. I don't mind. There we go. You lay right in there. Along the road. There. Okay, there we go. Now I think I'll tape all this down, so I might as well just trim this back. So we can tape it. Oops. There. I think you're fine. I'll just tuck you down. Okay. Some of this low tack. Ain't tape, it doesn't matter what kind you use. I don't think for this kind of thing. Alright, well. Mask mark out our perimeter where we know our building is going to sit. Oops. I guess that'll be a first too, is I've never assembled one of those wood. Mostly, I guess, train guys probably use that stuff. Wood building, balsa wood, basswood. So that's going to be a first. We'll be getting that done. Let's get it from this corner. Get her down to the end. Oops. Piece cut in. Pop it right in there. Just sort of give us some definition. Ooh. Let's do it this way. Generally get our definition. This one's a straight run. Okay. Gets us there. So get us all the way to here. I figure that leaves us enough room for our trucks to be able to, you know, come in or whatever and get around. And we'll get that right to there, I suppose. I think I'm going to go all the way to there, yeah. That's the inside corner, so. Square, square-ish. Okay. Now I guess I could tuck one right inside the bunker, which is about 7.5. Right there. That gets me 7.5 inches. It's good sticky stuff. This is great if you're painting walls. Just stick this on your baseboard. It'll save you a bunch of cleanup. Slide this right in there. I want this to go right to there. I'll close you up. And line you right up on the other side. Right there. Okay. There we go. Looks like I got a little opening. Okay. Turn this off. A little bit. I don't think I have to go all the way. All right. I'll stick you right here at this end. So, lock you down. There. gives us a good work surface to start with. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, get you guys back where you belong. Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty then. Let's mix some muck. So, basically, I'm going to take, I think what I'll do is, yeah, let's do that. I'll use this. Okay. Got some water here. Let's start with some water. And it looks like I can mix this up a fair bit to do our cliffs and our thing. There's not a lot on the base. Most of that we're going to do with a gravel. So I'll start with that. And that's just basically water, tap water with a bit of dish soap. And yeah, I'm thinking I should be safe there. So I think I'll start. Where is my little scooper? This should work. So let's get a degree of plaster of Paris. We'll say right to around there is 1. Get one of those. To the same amount of grout. And I do believe that this is 1/8 to 1/2 inch, and I believe it's sanded. Does it say? Sanded, yeah, right there, sanded grout. And the nice thing about that is because it does have that amount of, aggregate to it, even though it's fine. It's there, so it does give you that soil at scale, soil sort of consistency. Doesn't matter what color if you're going to paint it, but with grout, I mean, you could get any color that you want to imitate dirt. Okay, so about equal parts of those. Up. Now the hydrocal, the hydrocal, this stuff I don't add very much at all. Maybe 1/3 of that. It's kind of like a flow improver. I find it seems to give it that action. Now here's our spatula, and we're just gonna introduce water as we need it. You don't want to end up too thin right away. Looks like I might be on the ball here. See, we can thin up what's left if we have left over to build up mounds and soil along with flat parts here. So I think the first thing I want to do is get our rock faces covered. Okay, that looks pretty good. Right on. Okay, nice shot. It's a nice shot, kid. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure everything's in focus here. You can see, yep. Let me make sure, yep. Okay. Now, we're going to basically go the same way that we did last time we did this. Not quite to this size, but basically going to follow along our contours and then just get those ridges, I think, to come out where we want them, and use that irregular surface to build up our stone face bit by bit. So, got the appearance of rock coming up. I think as we work it, we begin to kind of get a feel for what sort of gives us that dimension. Now, I guess you could do the Fortress of Solitude like this too. Like you could build like a thing for Superman with just this, because it does look that kind of have that ice effect, which is neat. Paint it up different colors. That's the thing too, you know, if you have kids, you know, making stuff like this for your kids. I gotta find out what my granddaughter wants this year for me to print. I think it's a horse. She was dragons. She was all about the dragons there for a little bit. So I made her a couple dragons. She liked those. And then from there we'll keep going with you know, as the trends change, we'll keep going, make her stuff that she likes. So I'm not really sure where her interests lie right now. We'll find out. I think it's horses, though. I think it's all about the horses right now, which is wonderful. Love horses. They scare me, though. Kinda, like, because they're big. Once I'm around them for a little while, then I'm okay, but the first, the first few days around horses, or the first few hours, I get kind of a little, because I know that if you're nervous, that makes them nervous, which makes me nervous not to be nervous, which I'm afraid is making them nervous. So it's like one of those things. Okay, we're just going to keep working this up. Come off of those rocks. Blend this in, and you can see that glue really holds good. Around in here, get what's going to be mostly sort of dirt and soil, because we'll work in some trees and stuff around in here. Gotta like the spatula. Great tool for this. This, I think I'll go sideways here. Build that up. Okay, this is cool. This is just like that stuff you see making the movie props. This is neat. Yeah, you terrain guys are all about it. I was the terrain tutor, I think, when I was first kind of catching it. I like him. He's cool. He does some neat stuff. All the mini guys that are always doing this kind of stuff, and it is a lot of fun. This is therapeutic, let me tell you. Something about it. Going on in there. Get all this pressed in so we can start to sculpt it a bit. Pardon me. There's that frog I've had the last couple days. There we go. That's a big crack. Beautiful. That's a thing you can kind of sort of use the facets of what you've glued together sometimes to work as. Get that to squish right up underneath. That's why I like the spatulas, because it's pliable like that, so when you have your uneven surfaces, you can sort of get stuff to go right in there, as opposed to a spoon. Spoon has its uses. Croppage going on. shape. Let's get it stiffening up a bit while I get into this corner. That way I can sort of mold this together. It's got some rigidity to it. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Turn this around a bit so that you can see where I'm working. There we go. Corner. Sort of cap in. Go. Add some irregular facets. Wrap in here a little bit. Oh, okay. Last bit squished up on that top there. I'll mix another batch. Perfect. We used it just all that amount. That's good. Hate wasting stuff, so you don't want to mix more than what you need. You don't need it. No sense mixing it. Just work it along in here. Sort of rough because it's going to both basically be covered with leaves and foliage and dirt and vehicles and guys. Smooth it out a bit. a bit. Down a bit. Okay. Definitely got some crags. Stuff going on. There we go. Shaping some dirt. Sets us up for some trees and stuff. Blob. Stick it in here. Down at the bottom. Okay, we can muck this up down here at the bottom. Okay. I think that'll do for this one. Get down there and across the face, maybe a little more. Hands, oop, somewhere. Sorry about that. Okay. Quick brush just to knock down any spiky stuff. Not to make too much of a mess. All right. Okay. Stimple it. Get rid of any brush marks that we might have had. Okay. I think that's starting to look like some cliff face, man. Cool. All right. Because this is always carvable too once it's gone off, right? So this is really just the rough applique, but I think we've already got some pretty good structure with this foam that was underneath from being carved like that. Okay. Now we'll do the front of the cave entrance. Oop, lost a little bit. Any chunks of soil, maybe? Get us started. Just get some general shapes coming out from the bottom. Waste not, want not. Okay. I'm going to go up and clean my hands off, and we'll carry on. Okay, just going to take some pre-mixed, this is just craft glue, the Elmer's school glue. So I'm just going to take some of that. It's pre-mixed with water. I always keep one of these around because it's kind of handy for stuff. And what I want to do is I just want to mix up like a sort of a thin paste that I can sort of, not even a paste, I just want to sort of pour it over here, this area here, to get our gravel laid in. So I think what I want to do is I want to brush this on and then just sort of lay gravel. I think I need a bit more. So let's just sort of see what we can get out of this. I'll add some more grout. Take some of this. Is must be in the other room. Got a wee scoop. This works fine. Orange, it's good for garden and sculpting stuff. You keep stealing the kitchen tools, eh? Now, I'm not going to use this, I don't think, but this is an example of a friend of mine gave me this. And he uses this stuff here, the molding rubber, and you just goop that all over a wire tree that you make, and then you can just use the sculpting putty, epoxy sculpt and stuff, whatever you want, epoxy paste putty, and just sculpt your tree around it. And yeah, pretty cool actually. So that's something we'll get into later on the channel. Is I'm going to find some of this wire, a good bundle of it, and then we'll get into twisting up some trees, because that's pretty cool. I think that's really neat. Don't think we're going to use it here though. Okay, now let's... I'm going to try if I can. I just want to see if I can brush this around. Okay, I think that's going to work okay. I don't want much, right? I want to sort of level. Okay, yep, that's going to work. Okay, let me mix up some more of this. Get some of that in there. That'll start. Mix it up. Now I want it so it's pourable. Ooh. I want it to actually add, like you would be adding, you know, some sort of aggregate to the surface. But I don't really want to pile anything, so let's brush this around. It's like it's been graded gravel. Let's see how this goes. Look at this. See, we're just coming up with all kinds of stuff. So much fun, the modeling experience. I'm in the middle of watching Sully's models, and let's see, who else is it? Oh, I can't see it now, I had it off. There's about 4 or 5 channels in the live stream. I really want to start live streaming, and I really like the community of YouTube channels. I think it's like one of the most sincere communities on YouTube. The model channels, I find, like, you know, there's other ones, not the only one, but I find model channels are kind of some of the most sincere channels, I think. As they're just real folk, you know, doing their thing. Hobby channels in general, I guess. Okay. Definitely want to get up there. That's outside of our building. We can keep the big chunks out. Alright. Let's mix up some more, shall we? Keep the mix master model student, MMMS, the triple MS. Oh yeah, oh. Do. Let's keep the party going. Keep the cocktails coming. I think I can go. Maybe a little bit more out here as opposed to inside the building, either or. I'm thinking the building is going to end up in here, I think. It's looking like it's going to work. We'll see though, we're going to whip it together, so I think we'll probably maybe do that one day this coming week. And give that a shot and see what it looks like. Actually put together, yeah, and see if it is going to work or not. I'll set you up there. You to the side. Okay. Give this all a brush. Just like that. Brush it right into those edges. Get like a either groomed concrete. Depending on scale, this would probably work good for our garage idea that we're going to be doing for the 124 scale. So this would probably work for our, we'll want a concrete floor going in. So let's get this going this way. Center. Alakazam! Primed in black. We had a couple spots that weren't covered, but that's okay. We'll just do that in black craft paint to get it sealed in. Got a good bond, and we got a good base coat of black everywhere inside of our entrance here. So yeah, bing bang bong. This is just gonna sit now. I'm gonna let this sit till tomorrow, and I think I'll get out the craft paints. We'll fill in the black in and around in here, and then take a good look if we want to add any more plaster to it. But I think we're pretty good. I think this is going to come up looking like, graded gravel and stuff. And we'll get our building together next week. But, yeah, I think that's pretty good progress for today on our Operation Bear Trap. Beautiful. Okay, we'll be getting into this too next week. But let's get over to the other bench and carry on with the quad runner. Okay, here we are. We didn't get far because things kept drying fast enough. We've got our parts laid out. I cleaned up the parts and I kind of mocked up some stuff, so I know where we're headed. But I just realized that we're pushing almost an hour. I think I'm at 50-something minutes, I think, if I'm going to be going with what we did on the base. So for a Saturday, I think that's pretty good. I don't want to go over an hour if I can keep these episodes fairly short. But I think we kind of learned a lot with the base so far today, with the foam and the mixture that we got going on in different consistencies. So we'll see when it dries. We'll get it out tomorrow, and we'll add some more black to it. We'll get some airbrush on it tomorrow. And we'll keep pushing ahead with the quad runner and basically pick up where we left off for tomorrow. And we'll make that a Sunday show. So there'll be no weekly compression this week because we haven't really completed anything. We're close. We're close to completing our FAV, our fast attack vehicle. We're close. We're ready to get into the camouflage. That's going to be cool. We'll get into that right away. Here, yeah, we're gonna get. Oh, my clicker's not working here. Come on, clicky do. Uh-oh. Oh no, battery died on my mouse. My control. There we go. Oh, that's me. Well, hi everyone. How are you? There we go. That's what I wanted to do. So we're definitely, we're getting there. So it just started to mock up some stowage. I have actually what I did was I dug out, because I think for the whole diorama, it's going to kind of lend itself well, is I dug out this I've had in the stash for a while. I think it's primarily World War II, but it doesn't matter. So we have generic cans, but I got some gas cans, so I wanted to use at least 3 with these guys, and maybe some of the stowage that we've got in here. I have some other bags and stuff, but it definitely gives us some oil drums to put around our garage, and some oil cans and stuff. Now, I know they say US on them, but I think we can flip them over or something. We'll figure something out. I do have a file for 3D printed cans, so we'll see about that too, I think. We may even get a chance, actually, tomorrow. We might just look over some files together and see what we can find, because I did print some jerry cans, but more of them failed than came out. So we'll try that again, because we used the jerry cans that we printed with the Centauro build. The ones that we did get, I think we got 3 out of 20, so that wasn't a very good average. Although we didn't use much resin, so maybe we could try that again and see. But we've got these anyways to use. So we've got the 2 types of jerry cans. We've got our barrels. So I think we've got enough stuff here that we can sort of fiddle around with to fill out our basic garage and diorama bunker setup for Operation Bear Trap. So this is the color scheme we're going to go with our FAV. So we'll be getting in tomorrow into the XF59, which is the desert yellow. And we'll be getting a coat of green and camo on both these guys. So, I'm the model student until tomorrow. Yeah, I guess that's a wrap for today. We've got lots to look forward to for tomorrow. We've got a bit of assembly, not much. Mostly paint, mostly fun. And I think that's what we're in for tomorrow. So, yeah, please join me tomorrow for the Tomorrow Show. And until then, keep living, keep loving, keep laughing, keep making plans for tomorrow. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Go. And I think we'll do that in there. Going that way. Drag that way. Okay, and then we're going to go right there. Break that one right there. Oh, wrong one. Don't get your wet and your dry and your dry and your wet. Just paste it around in here. No sense wasting it. Give this some sort of a textured surface. Find any spots we might have missed. Okay. Now, clean up this pad here. Get out all that extra. Okay, this should make it fairly easy for us to stand figures and stuff too, right? So, of course, you have to be sort of good at flattening the bottoms of their feet too, so they sit flat on the surface. But whoop. Okay, there we go. Okay, I can clean this out. I might as well use this up. Okay, let's let that dry. Clean this up. Vacuum my dump, my spill.